Let's see, all right, we're here. All right, well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your time. My name is Greg Dyk, and I will be presenting a comprehensive health curriculum proposal. It's called the Great Body Shop. This is also the final presentation for my Capstone project for my graduate program. When I started this, kind of the research on this about a year and a half, 2 years ago, there were several research questions that kind of drove the process. The first was, what kind of impact would a health curriculum have on the students in general? What kind of impression would it leave? Would there be a long-lasting impact as a result of a comprehensive health curriculum? The second was, how do we take a health curriculum, fit it into our already micro-managed, scheduled time, and include everybody? I didn't want it to be just classroom teachers, just the PE teacher, just a librarian or a guidance counselor. I do want to try to make it a school-wide implementation of the curriculum. The third, again, was the time constraints. I know as well as anybody, classroom teachers are very limited in time. Initial data that I collected, we did do a wellness survey earlier in the year. Some of the results came back. A large majority, about 75% of the teachers responded they did feel like they could incorporate a 10 to 20 minute lesson per week. So that's kind of where we're starting from. The time would be obviously something we could go back and revisit, change, tweak, and adjust as needed. The other one, the fourth one there was supplemental materials. The problem right now is the way that we present health content in our school is very similar to most schools throughout the country. It's piecemeal. We get a little bit of content here, we get a little bit of content here, but there's no connection, there's no vertical, horizontal alignment of the curriculum. It's, hey, let's teach this now and use this as evidence of our health content. And we'll talk a bit more about why that is really unacceptable from a standpoint of health content. The last is program review. As a practical living career studies program review requirement, health curriculum is in the language. When we score ourselves on that, we tend to do very well in most areas. Proficient in a lot of areas of our PLCS program review, distinguished in other areas, but from a health standpoint, we are needs improvement or doesn't exist because we don't have a curriculum. And we are like most other elementary schools in the country in that we don't have one in place. The description of the need or the problem, again, currently we need a comprehensive health curriculum in place because like most elementary schools, we don't have one. The research, and I'll kind of go over that here in a little bit, shows that this is the best time to provide that health content to students. Elementary ages is when behaviors are going to become developed, habits, good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, are going to start to form, and the amount of knowledge and content they can get that are helping to promote positive behaviors is going to help in the establishment of these habits and behaviors. The other need, again, is program review. Because of the state requirements for practical living career studies, more than ever, we have to provide this content. It is a school requirement that the content from this area is covered. The hopes of incorporating a curriculum like this is to, one, help teachers in the process, make it easier to have the content at hand in front of them, to eliminate prep time, to make it something that we can align from kindergarten all the way through 5th grade that's going to build each year that the students receive this information. And then the research. One of the biggest things I found in doing the review of the literature and the research on this is that it is overwhelming the amount of research that is out there that connects student health and academic performance, student health and decrease in discipline, student health and better mental and emotional capacity. They just handle things better. The contradicting part of that is in the research, it's showing that a large percentage of schools across our country are not offering health as a required content. In a lot of cases, it's not even required for graduation anymore. So there's obviously a disconnect there. The research says this is when we need it. This is where students need this content. The research also shows that they're not getting it. It's not being implemented across the board on a regular basis. I could go through the countless articles I read, the research, the literature, but the Centers for Disease Control kind of did that for me. They summed it up pretty much in one image here. You can see that there is a connection, an indisputable connection between student health and academic achievement. Healthier students make better learners. There are 800 different studies that can show this relationship. We have the perfect vehicle to reach these students. 178 million students that we contact, that we come into contact with on a regular basis.
Sarah from the Y. Would you come to the office, please?
And of these 78 million students that come in our schools on a daily basis, again, the research shows a large percentage are not receiving health content. So it's the perfect storm. We've got the opportunity, we have the numbers, we have the students here, and the opportunity to provide them with this very important content is there. The curriculum itself, the reason that I'm promoting this particular curriculum is, one, it is a program that is fostered to bring the entire community together and involve the entire community in this program. The idea is to, again, incorporate as many different teachers, faculty, staff, parents, and community partners as we can. It is a comprehensive research evidence-based program that has proven, there's research that shows that it is a proven curriculum in developing health knowledge, health skills that can in turn help students make better health behaviors. With the curriculum, every teacher would receive a teacher manual, teacher guide. The guide has everything they need in it, from one unit to the next, from one lesson to the next. It also has all the student workbook copies. There is a student workbook per unit, and there will be initially a classroom set of those for each grade level. For budget reasons, that's where we'll start. But every grade level will have a classroom set of the student workbooks that can be used and shared during the lessons. There's also communication already established for parent-school communication. There's a parent letter that goes home prior to every unit that kind of lets parents know what content is going to be covered, what are the topics that are going to be covered, so they're kind of aware of that. There are also some take-home activities and homework, which can obviously be assigned as we feel needed. You can adjust the amount. It's by no means a large amount of homework, but it's some activities that can include the family and get some people involved from that standpoint. There are 10 units. Every unit is the same from one grade level to the next. Those 10 units are listed here. In order to fit the curriculum within our calendar, if we did all 10 units, 4 lessons, that's 40 weeks, which would be very difficult to fit in. By eliminating 3 of the units, those are the units that I have listed in red, I've taken those units and that content, and that will be absorbed in other areas of the school. So the proposal and the idea right now is to have nutrition absorbed by myself in the physical education curriculum, and the librarian Kim Berry teaches some nutrition now, and this would actually give her some content materials readily available for her to kind of dive a little bit deeper into nutrition from her side of things. The self-worth, mental and emotional health unit would be a counseling program. I've been working with Mr. Hendricks on kind of developing a unit for him that he can incorporate into his counseling program. And then physical fitness is a unit, and that would just be absorbed into my current physical education curriculum. So that would narrow it down to 7 units. 4 units, 7, 28 weeks, which would allow us a little bit of room at the beginning and the end of the year to, if we needed to fill in some space, if we had some days that we missed, there's a little bit of room to do that. Also, the way that it's right now, it's paced. It would most of the content would be covered prior to K-Prep and things like that starting, so there wouldn't be that initial or extra burden during those times. The lessons, as I mentioned earlier, scripted. The program is designed for teachers that don't have a health background. It's designed for them to use it. Most of the teachers that are going to be teaching this don't have a health curriculum background. They don't have a health education background. But they can take the material. It's very user-friendly, read right through the lessons, the discussions, the topics, and move right into the activities that are available. The handouts, everything's already there. It's just a matter of making a few copies and your lessons available. Initially, I'd like to start per week at about 15 minutes. 30 minutes would be optimal. I don't know if we have 30 minutes or not. That's something that I'll be getting some feedback from teachers on throughout the process. The idea was originally to maybe pick one day a week to teach this, but in my pacing, I kind of set 3 days a week, a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday week, where grade levels could maybe teach a 10, 15-minute lesson on any one of those 3 days. They could combine all 3 days if they wanted to, maybe teach the intro, and then on Tuesday, the next day on Wednesday, present them with some of the materials and activities that would go along with that lesson. That, I think, gives the classroom teachers a little more flexibility about how to present it, when to present it, and so on, instead of locking everybody into one day. Also, the curriculum being considered does include several other content. There is some cross-curricular connections here with, as you can see, English language arts, history, science, technical, application are all embedded into the curriculum that's being recommended. The result, what I'm hoping for is kind of three things. One, and I think the most important, is that students are going to be provided content, information that's going to help them make healthy behavioral choices at an age where the research shows it is most appropriate. They're going to be taking information that's going to help them not only through their elementary years, but for middle school, even into high school. These habits, these behaviors that are formed early are going to help them in that process. And we know that middle school and high school, obviously, the decisions that a lot of these students make are going to become far more important. Secondly, the community connection. The hope is to again, incorporate students, faculty, staff, community sponsors. I've already been in contact with the health department as well as the cooperative extension office about being partners with us on this and helping us find partners in the community that have a health background, perhaps even to come in and teach some of the lessons similar to a junior achievement type program where we could have parents, family members, community members that have a health background come in and teach the content themselves and really make that connection. That, in addition to using some of the programs we already have, Jump Rope for Heart, My Heart Rocks program, which we partner with St. Elizabeth Hospital, some of those supplemental materials are already in place, and this curriculum would just help kind of bring those to the forefront. And finally, the program review scores. Obviously, as a requirement, we want to do as well on our program review scores as we can from an accountability standpoint. Incorporating a health curriculum based on where we currently stand would not only move us to proficient, but would move us to distinguished in most categories. And that's assuming we maintain in the other areas, which we've been very successful at the last several years. And then the projected timeline. It would be great if we could move this up, but I think this is a fairly realistic timeline. I did break the project into two phases. Phase one is kind of in progress. It's essentially the adoption, the purchasing, the delivery of the materials, the mapping, some data collection strategies kind of along the way, training K through second grade teachers in the utilization of the curriculum, and then kind of what would be a pilot program trying to implement K through second starting in January through the end of the school year. They would start to use the content on a weekly basis, and we could get some feedback, collect some data on any changes that might need to be made from that initial pilot program. Phase two would be, again, additional data collection, looking at some of the pre and the post tests that comes with the curriculum, some surveys from both teachers, parents, and students on the kind of how the curriculum is functioning. Is it efficient? Are the time constraints working? Also, the training of 3rd through 5th grade teachers would occur during this time, And then hopefully by the beginning of the school year, August 2017, we would have full implementation of the curriculum. And then references, pretty simple. There is a full list of references available on the final Capstone project. That is my presentation on the Great Body Shop. I do again thank you for coming and taking time out of your very busy schedules. Thank you.